Okay, we're recording. I will call the meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
We're gonna introduce ourselves first.
Yep. Yeah, let's introduce ourselves first.
Scott Breyer, Select Board.
Dave Gallup, Road
Dave,
Commissioner.
yeah.
Bill Marquette, Select Board.
Matt Maxwell, Town Administrator.
That's high.
Go Praneeth, you're in the back.
Praneeth Menon, Planning Commission Board.
There's another one too.
Barbara Maxwell, resident.
David Barlow, treasurer.
Deb.
Deb Tangway, town clerk, town bookkeeper.
Great, thanks, everybody.
You
Kathleen.
guys get some new stuff.
Kathleen Ahern, interested community member.
Name and rank, please. Okay, are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Is there a comment from the public tonight?
We're missing a few tonight.
Okay, then we have the approval of the fiscal year 2022 town budget.
How are we doing this? Are we going line by line again? Or having it explained?
Well, that's up to you guys. David and I are pretty confident, right, David?
I'm confident. The 2024 budget.
No. Any big changes from last year? I don't mind having it up and just maybe we don't have to go line by line.
I didn't bring it up. I just put it in your.
We have right here.
Here.
Right, hang on. Any big changes from last year or was it basically?
No.
No, $50 from last year, just looking forward to this year.
Yes.
So the the bit that's kind of buried in there would be salaries and wages.
You have it on a separate sheet here too, right?
I do.
So there was you guys had some questions about some of the salaries from last week and
Kind of what you want to do with that.
So-
Is stipends included?
Did the actual get all lined up?
Yes.
So I'm
what
just
was
gonna,
that thing you said?
Stipends.
No, wage, what was that called? The
Wage calculation sheet.
Wage.
Yeah, you should wage and salary.
And they should motion and approve that, right? If they.
They don't have to, but it's pretty much, it lines up with the budget.
Right.
So
Okay, so if you approve the budget, you're approving the.
this is what you're agreeing to put on the warning, basically.
so these aren't, I'm just looking at my own stuff, Dave.
Mhm.
So these aren't numbers we had punched in last week when we talked about my budget.
The salary numbers.
Yeah,
No. We skipped all the salary things last,
Yeah, you skipped them all.
because we hadn't, Dave hadn't figured out the cost of living and whatever.
so I think that's pretty high on my salary. And I thought I had John in at 58.
You do. So it's split between summer and winter.
Yeah, I remember that summer winter split again.
Correct, but it still adds up to a year.
Right, and that's why I was talking to you about that today. So on the salary sheet, the full-time road crew is 54,000.
That's, yeah, that's just a budgetary number from taking last year's number and raising it up by the federal cost of living adjustment of 8.7%.
The 58 you were
But-
giving them a raise in.
Yes,
I think in the case of the full-time road crew, though, your history has shown we're going to incur some overtime. So,
okay,
you know,
all right, so let's go to mine then. That's quite a jack up from what I put in from for the budget.
actually, we haven't touched it.
I thought I had 60 in there.
So the budget line items added to 66 or 60,600.
Yeah, it's about 33 grand each.
But the
each half.
budgeted amount in your wage salary is not what's in the budget.
So you're, this is the same old problem of you're being paid at a somewhat higher rate based on last year's raise and what's. in the
Right, but so, okay, I think I'm gonna try to ask him what he's trying to ask. Road commissioner in your wage and salary is 69,757.
That's correct.
In the budget, it adds up to 60,600.
That's right. Cause I didn't touch that number because it's David's budget.
Okay, okay,
That's the one number I didn't
So-
touch.
Let's go with,
And I didn't touch the,
so this number includes the salary
I didn't touch any of the road salaries on the budget.
on the budget itself.
I was,
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Of course.
I was pretty happy with the budgets, the way I presented them. I think I gave John a big increase and
Yeah, without giving him another 8%, you had just given him a big raise not too long ago, right?
I gave him a good increase in the budget numbers I set forth, I believe. I can't even find roads right now.
it's all back at-
Huh?
Right there. It's
This one?
so you got 57,000 in the budget.
You guys are buried in paper over there.
Yeah.
So what David's coming up is this. We approved this sheet. These are the numbers that should go into the budget.
Well, not, they do on the general fund, I would agree, because the employees that fall under the general fund, not the road crew, but everybody else, isn't gonna incur any overtime or any of the strange stuff that happens.
Right.
That way, so it's very predictable for general fund. On the road side, you know, it should be at least that amount, but it could be
Okay,
more.
okay, so I'll interrupt you. So you got 30,300 for me, winter and summer.
Yes,
That's the number you gave us, believe.
yes. Is that what you gave him?
Yeah,
60. 60,600.
we got John and I had John at 57.
Yes,
I think in looking around and you and I glanced at some of the wages locally, I think we're pretty well on par there.
Okay. I mean,
I just think,
It's up to you guys, how much you wanna pay your road commissioner.
well, I guess when I look at this as your budget, what do you
Well, I
got?
think you need to stay really in par because at some point, when you retire,
What if I don't retire?
well, maybe you don't retire. Well, I'm not wishing you to retire, but I'm just saying, all of a sudden, if the town has to step up and spend $20,000 more to replace you, that would be silly.
Yeah, but I think, so right here on your sheet, Dave, I'm looking at a budgeted number of 69,757. So that to me seems pretty high for a little road department like this.
but so is that not, is it lower comparable to other little road departments?
I talked to Trevor the other day. I think he said he was getting, we looked at Irishberg's wages. They were pretty good. They were pretty comparable.
To which
Well,
number?
those numbers are 2 years old, though. The ones I had downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought he said he was like $28 an hour, but he was getting, of course he gets overtime.
Mhm.
I choose not to have it. I choose to go home. I think the numbers I put in were good. I think 69 is way too high for what I do.
So do you want to leave it to 64?
Well, you don't have to, you can just approve because in the budget, we didn't change.
Yeah, we can change
You
this
can just
stuff
approve
later.
the budget and not.
Yeah.
Not worry about this.
Right.
We didn't change any of your road numbers in the budget.
Okay,
So if you just approve the 2024 budget,
So wait,
the way it's on that piece of paper,
all right. And John's taken care of pretty good there.
it's whatever number you gave me.
Yeah, so
Ron was 57,
It allows for some overtime.
the 50. Oh, the 57, yeah.
yeah, I'm good with the numbers I put in. I
But
think,
you do understand that these numbers are going in the general budget,
Well, except for the road stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah,
got- you got
we'll
that
have to,
part,
we'll
right?
look at those and make sure that's,
Like Deb's increases in there and whatever else, so.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
Right, I'm just,
Right.
I just want you to understand. that.
Yours is gonna be the same. We can approve both of these things.
You don't know, you just have to approve the budget.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would recommend not approving the
yeah,
wage thing.
No, just,
Tonight.
right,
It's just there so you understand where
where those numbers came.
the
from.
budget numbers
Okay,
I
and
understand.
the general fund specifically.
all right.
But we do need you to approve the budget.
We're looking at roads first since we're.
Okay,
What I proposed was 8.7% federal. Total supply the budget.
So that's basically because we're seeing this here, the budget.
Just on this wage sheet and in some of the budget.
No, understood that, like overall.
The salaries and wages
Okay.
only, not on.
I think I'm good.
Fair enough, but on other, I guess when we roll it all up, what's our,
Which one are you looking at?
I'm just kind of glancing at all.
So the highway equipment repairs,
I mean,
minding the.
So I put those down based on.
bunch of
We're
other.
gonna be eliminating.
Okay,
And the other truck's almost brand new. And the little one, you don't,
Little
even-
bit.
the little one, you don't use much in this one, do you? Not the little one, but the middle one,
Most part time.
the 10 wheel.
This is
How old is that?
same age as the ten.
Maybe next year get a new one of those.
where was the bulk of those coming from? The 10-wheeler?
The cost, just basically everything. in bigger wire. But we did.
I guess the only, why I'm looking at it is we're actual right now, what's the budgeting for next year?
Yeah.
But it shouldn't go up because when you add a new truck, that brings it down 3 or 4 grand.
Oh, I guess that was where I was meaning of, do we know where those expenses are coming from? Because if the bulk of them's coming from that one we're getting rid of,
It was
okay,
just 2
fine.
grand and the one we're getting rid of.
I would have, yeah, I would have.
So-
to-
But that, you see what I'm saying
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
if the bulk of those expenses are coming from the one we're getting rid of, fine, but if they aren't, then it's
I
not
would
gonna
say
matter.
this year they were.
Like 2 pages or the 3? I thought there were 3 of them.
Probably roads.
Just 2.
That's roads.
Right, sir.
So are the numbers for the general stuff updated? In the
Yeah.
budget from here? Okay. Is Stephanie doing anything?
Again, like the select board, we can keep it the same. It's more here, but we can keep it the same here.
Is the.
We approved the budget, we're not
Nine sided
approving it.
just planning commission.
Well, you know, if it's right here,
As far as I know. So that,
can raise
that,
it like
that we
8%.
don't need the administrators.
So $87.
We don't need the
David.
$130.
Yeah, we just kind of,
But in here,
I had to make
It
a.
doesn't, it's like that.
Cause that 800, it must have been from the beginning of the year when
where is it?
Stephanie was still helping Ned.
Stay the same.
No, I
Yeah,
think
stay the same. So,
No, but I never changed it in payroll, so it's been charging against that line the whole time.
Okay,
Which. Okay, I caught it. What I did. And moved that.
into the planning
Planning. Along with the budget number.
with, the okay,
and we decided like on the audit to just approve the 10,000, not 15, because then that's what it would cost our audit. If they, because they probably auditors look at your, what you, right, yeah,
Knowing we're not quite sure what they're gonna.
right. Did you get a chance to reach out to the printer for the town report? Did you confirm we're still, nothing's changed and it'll be color and
yeah, I just haven't gotten that yet.
He needs it by Friday.
She needs a report by Friday,
It needs to look like.
this Friday, so
Yeah,
I gotta
this
have
Friday,
the
so
letter.
gotta have your This is the last minute,
Or else I'll just write it.
change on my part.
And,
Which is fine. Put that number down with the planning commission, that number down.
I think I can get it done,
Okay.
unless you have, if you guys want
Phil, I
to,
don't know what letters
If you-
you're submitting, but
if you want to.
Yeah, I need to.
I don't have any.
I'm gonna submit a letter,
And that
I'm
number
just,
becomes
the only,
zero.
the only thing I'm gonna talk about is
Spend
probably,
anything.
you know. Thankful that we're having an in-meeting
You know,
town meeting.
budget, I
and-
would leave it in the
and,
budget.
You know, and, you know, talk about park, and
Right.
talk about the church,
Just in
and
case.
just general.
Gives you
blah,
about 10
blah.
hours.
I'll see.
Oh, you have that down there already.
Is it?
Yep. Yep, so. when
It's
it's
not,
that-
unless there's anything we really
Yeah,
wanna
so
highlight
just
in,
think I'm out up here.
the select board letter.
Church.
Yeah, so you
What you got?
hired a town administrator, you demolished the house, we fixed up the church, yeah.
Yeah, the projects for 2024 would be to, you know, make new parking here for the town and,
You may want to budget 250 for that.
That'd be something with the.
Just to have
falls.
something there. It's like about
Yeah,
10
we're
hours.
looking
just in
into
case.
possibly
Or a pedestrian
Not a bad idea.
bridge.
I don't know if I wanna put
Yeah, you
that,
might know.
I don't wanna, I don't need to talk about a town meeting for an hour about a bridge over the falls.
No, that's a plan down the road. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
that'll
That
be
doesn't-
after,
That doesn't need to be town meeting.
Another thought too, Scott,
Say
with,
something.
you wanting to go ahead and put on the warrant and Hess fires going to Australian ballot next year. Maybe put a little paragraph relating to that, Hess fires, why the select board is thinking of maybe doing that, Hess fires trying to, you know, more residents are voting when they're being sent out Australian ballot and different nature of that, maybe just has a preempt to that article.
Can you get him the official numbers of, like, prior to our 2 Australian
yeah,
ballot
can you
years?
can you give me some points to that, so when I write my letter, I can include all those notes?
I think
So
the
we
last
we
5
haven't
years.
voted on that being an article yet, right?
Well,
gonna
it's gonna,
tonight.
well, it's gonna be a warning, so we have to do another.
So I'd like to have my input on that as our.
Yeah, no, we
That's the
can
next,
discuss that.
that's the next
Yeah.
item on our agenda. Let's get the budget.
Good job, man.
Just wanted to point out one minor change.
Here,
Nope. This number actually should be 250.
$250. And what's it gonna be over here?
250.
Okay,
And that goes to 0 is the action.
okay,
This is the
Yep.
admin assistant.
so when you add it up, that's what it is,
Uh,
maybe not,
something,
yeah,
it's not much of a change. When
Yeah.
There, just, I think it's, I moved all that down to the planning commission, because that's where she goes in. That, when we get down there, those numbers, I can believe are correct. Yeah. Right there. And this is the actual.
You reviewed all.
Based on
what you're thinking.
actually where she's at, and that's not wise next year.
Utility rate is 150.
Okay. Yep. Thanks.
So we mentioned that, it was so high, we didn't give that.
The utilities on 150 Main Street.
It includes some of the removements stuff.
Okay. Is that the only line item for that place? we have, right?
Yeah.
Removal.
Asbestos.
I have to look and see exactly.
Oh,
I did verify.
I thought you were talking about the.
It was all this.
Okay.
We did a really good demolition job there.
All that stuff.
Blew it that way.
Just, just about 18 and 20% more. It seemed like,
Everything.
no, but the ambulance service, the sheriff's department, and the dry hire hydrants.
Where does sheriff's work?
Well, we just increased
The
it
same number.
8%.
What? I was giving him a call.
Oh, yeah.
He likes numbers, so.
Who does?
Pretty.
Fun looking stuff. Excel spreadsheets are my jam.
If I had more of that long paper, I would have printed you up a top. We're running a little short right now.
I think it's good.
This should not even be here.
What do you got?
This should
Oh, I
be,
know.
that should be the foundation, one
Oh,
of
sure.
the
What is it?
health clubs. Honestly, doesn't make sense. What town does that?
Yeah,
You know, what I mean?
we do.
Phil, I'm gonna take this back. I'm gonna I'm not gonna do this tonight.
Yeah,
But it's get Pager to come in and see me sometime.
yeah, I can even look at it.
Did you do a total across the board, what the increase was?
It's just a little bit over 4% last time I looked at it.
Total down budget.
No, did not look at
Road,
but I can,
the road is a little less than 4%.
that one pretty quick here. Doesn't look like.
It's not. Less than 5. He'll know all that stuff right now.
You can answer the town that it's in.
I did.
There was another, it wasn't there.
Was it?
They probably put it three places, let's say, with that.
Service area.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Did we have a draft warrant?
Warning, probably. It's not,
Like,
that's not,
that's what
we're not
10%.
approving that.
No, I know, we gotta wait.
Wow.
10%.
School has approved their.
Roads up,
and numbers. We're not looking at that thing until you guys make the motion to approve that budget.
I know.
Okay.
You guys good?
That's nail. Fucking.
You good?
Yeah.
Make the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the general. Hoping your addition works because I'm going by that number. The general budget. We do balance, right? No. Oh, well, approve the general 20 fiscal year 2024 budget. As noted in the given spreadsheet. Because that number doesn't make sense to me.
Which number would that be, Dave?
I don't think we have a,
We don't have the number, we just have this papers, but we just have a balance, it's rolling. Total revenues.
869,993.
It's probably the one.
That's the expenditures, revenues in 2 million.
Yeah, revenues kind of be what it is. You're not really.
Yeah.
You're approving this to put it on a warning, not so much.
Yeah.
Moving out of it. Yeah.
That's true, it's being approved to put it on the warning.
It's
Right.
going to be. Slightly changed, 860, assuming the math is working on this particular printout.
So should we approve it up to 900,000? That way you can adjust it and we can go on the,
But there's, I think if you went to like 875,
oh, in case the math's off.
yeah, we can work on the math.
Mm-hmm.
So
Doing
moved.
both at the same time. Okay, we did that one. That was general
Who
budget.
seconded it?
Scott,
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the roads fiscal year 2024 budget.
You?
For 393,95,000. Put on the
393,500.
budget, or put on the one,
Should that say, less state aid? That motion.
wow. No, because revenues are revenues. Again,
So
Oh,
moved.
we're doing the revenue, okay.
Scott, second.
All
All those in favor? Aye.
there, it was budget then.
Kathleen, you have a question?
But it says David Barlow.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm on somebody else's tablet. Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that as part of the meeting, the actual number or an amount up to is stated publicly. That's just my 2 cents worth of request. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen.
So do you want to state that number for the,
I wish we had an actual number.
well, just up to, in this one,
Yeah, it was 900.
875,000.
75.
And then this one here was
63.
393,560, so say 395,000 up to.
Okay, we're not, that says approval, but we're not approving the warning tonight. The school hasn't approved their warning yet. But I do want to go through this because I'm missing numbers for articles 10, 11, 12, and 13. So I'm gonna need some direction on what those numbers should be.
You sent that out, David, didn't you? And I thought that one.
right.
After reserve fund. After articles. So this is not what he had.
What's that?
Okay, so
In a nutshell, Deb, on the school budget, at 19.29% increase, what's a quick breakdown of what brings that number up that high? I know it's a combination of everything, but what's the biggest expense?
Tuition. Tuition and employee benefits.
we got Praneet too.
Yep.
He's right.
She's right.
Your hand is the money.
Yeah,
You've got it.
That's what it is.
You put someone in, can't remember what like turning something,
Turning
Turning
points.
points.
turning points. That costs quite a bit of money every year, high school students, and then just increase in the general cost of living increases across the board.
My observing over there when I'm there is that the stuff that the school has control over is level funded. It's the other stuff they don't have control over.
Absolutely.
Causing it to go up.
Yep.
And that's the way it's been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a student who has disability needs that came in, so we had to make things for that, and so just, one thing after another, just handling it as they go. But overall, though, the revenues are covering quite a bit of it as well, so from a tax perspective, it's not that big a jump.
I'm gonna print this out too.
So we haven't picked any dates for any informational meetings yet?
That's gonna be a question for you guys to decide. I know the school already has theirs picked out for March 6th. I mean, that's at your discretion. You guys only have to have one informational meeting, or you could go above and beyond and still hold 3 if you want. And if you want to still hold 3, then I would post and maybe check with the school to see if they would want to go ahead and chime in on all 3 as well, especially with the bond vote coming up this year. That may be beneficial to at least have a few more meetings prior to town meeting day. So yeah, that's your guys' discretion.
Attendance is zero.
Zero.
The attendance,
Nobody
nobody cares.
Um,
They care when they come to town meeting and they say 20%.
They're gonna care.
And they're accept,
And
they
they're
have
not
no
gonna
kids. They're like, no.
Just be these sitting there. at those meetings.
Selling the budget is gonna be interesting, and there's also this CLA that why not just going to be.
Tell them to ignore that.
Just ignore it. Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done, right? Like, School's the only thing that the town pays for, and my taxes have gone up, you guys must have caused the increase. And let me explain that away.
Okay, yeah, I just found out.
What the heck is that? I'm supposed to read that.
Yeah, don't flip the right way.
If you look at 900, that's David administrating.
What?
We're looking at your reserve stuff, because that's
Oh,
the
yeah,
articles,
reserve fund.
that's the articles that Matt needs.
Yep,
Okay, so we're all the way, which ones you need numbers for, 10?
So 10 is. Town liabilities and general fund, oh, that's the,
Do you have that
that's the
number?
general fund, that's the highway fund, so 10, 11 is what we just voted on. So 12. Is road infrastructure,
Right, I don't have
which he's
numbers,
got XYZ 000.
I don't have numbers for those, there's 4 articles I need numbers.
What,
for.
12, 13?
10, 11,
Okay,
12.
so here, hang on. So David was asking us what we thought for road infrastructure.
What did we put in
So this
for the
is
last,
our-
what
this
did we
is our-
put in, what is the total amount of money we have? left
Right
over?
here's the number.
you get 811,000 in there right now, but you've obligated,
229.
229, yeah, for, paving contract that's in existence, so you're sitting somewhere around just over in the 500,000 range. 550,000 of unobligated funds in that road infrastructure. And that's where the paving. comes in.
And we have already, for the money that's in there, we already kind of allocated what we were doing with that last year, didn't we? We just didn't do it when we put the money in there, didn't we say what we're gonna do with it?
You get that 229 number.
Well, that part, yes. It's
So
gonna
that's-
pay something.
You guys want to obligate 250 to it?
Yep.
And that'll cover our, well, our
Which one's
expenses.
that for?
I got it, Matt.
For number 12.
It's number
For the
number 12.
road and infrastructure reserve
Yes.
fund?
Yeah.
Did you already do highway fund?
No, we did not. Okay. Well, highway, those 11 and 10 and 11 are the budgets. Okay, we just did.
Okay.
So
So
those will be, that'll
that's
be the
that
budget
860 whatever
Yeah.
number, and then
Yeah.
the 300. and
395.
This one's
I think this was 395
This one's,
and then 875.
385, up to 385, I think. I mean, 8, I can tell you.
Well,
I wrote it down.
what I recommend we do is, Matt and I will meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
When this is done, and
okay,
make up any adjustments that need to be made.
Yep.
Based on.
okay,
what we
All right.
do here,
okay,
and work add the final numbers in there.
because you guys are
We
gonna have to
should
get
be lower
together
than.
Thursday and approve this.
This Thursday?
Lower than
Yeah.
what you
With
were-
the school voting on their
Yeah, you get another
Wednesday.
budget.
on Wednesday.
So you, after they do theirs, you guys will have to
So
come
Thursday at dinner,
in and sign. Well, I got a basketball game, so you'll have to come in for that.
Talking lunch or supper?
I tip off at 4 o'clock.
Thursday lunch, right?
Okay.
Are you taking us to lunch?
Yeah. You wanna go to diner? Are you allowed in there, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we can all go.
Huh?
We can't go.
You have to warn it, you have to warn it.
Yeah,
After 1 a.m.
I'm gonna warn it anyway.
So let's just do Thursday noon here.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll get lunch to take out.
Yeah.
You surprise us.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'll use
250
my town credit card.
Okay.
250,000 Article 12 for roads and infrastructure. He's got 150,000 in roads capital equipment reserve. Does that sound right?
So that's 400, so we only have 100,000 less.
We got more than that.
Yeah, we got more than that.
You got, still got, 8.
So there's 150,000. So if we put the 150 and that brings it up to 3.
We
Ish.
had 8, but he was. You take out of there, I mean.
If I'm looking at the number right,
Yeah, road capital equipment fund, you've got 200,000 in there right now.
so it'll bring it up to 350.
350,
Oh, we're gonna spend what? What's that?
whatever you decide.
What was that truck? A truck
The
is-
truck's 230 by the time you buy the extra,
So that would leave enough.
by the time you buy, then you're gonna get the trade-in value, so it's still gonna cost you 200 grand with the warranty-ish, give or take 10,000.
Correct.
So we'll be sitting on 150.
Yeah.
Okay, and we still haven't decided what to do with the ARPA funds, so maybe down the road, if we need some, we can do that too. 150.
150 for 13.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of them had numbers, but you got,
14 is the reappraisal fund,
Yeah.
it's 100,000,
and that one went up from,
How much do we have left in the reappraisal funds?
140.
it went up from 35,000 last year, I think.
Yeah, I'm not
We've
even.
got 140 there now. My thinking was, we don't know what's gonna happen. We just don't know. So
And since we did, how much did our total reappraisal cost us last time?
I don't know the exact number for the regular buildings and such.
That's the, I know the other number, but I don't know the
That
regular. I
wasn't actually very much.
Thing is, that one's not-
think it was 50,000.
But
Yeah.
I have to go look it up, but the
So
utilities and.
That's not gonna happen for a while though, right?
Nah.
Townwide, or is it looking
Well-
like that CLA might drop down?
At least another couple of years, right?
I think I really think it's kind of crazy. There's no way towns that don't have funding from a source like a Tiffy are ever going to be able to talk to taxpayers. They don't have 100,000 to put into the fund to have their town reappraised. They
It's
just,
not shot like we do.
no. And
Dribble it in year by year.
so they're not gonna do it there's no way a town should be expected to do a townwide reappraisal within a 5-year period. There's just, doesn't make sense to me. Cost
I
wise,
agree. It's not a.
ours should be easier now because everything's updated and
And could those numbers fluctuate back up? Those CLA numbers? Say the market, say the housing market leveled off or actually went down, would it reflect back on the CLA going up?
It would change very slowly, no matter.
Common
what,
level of
but,
appraisal.
I don't think it would. If you want to take the CLA back to 1, then the house sales in Coventry have to be below appraised value for a while
to take it back, to make it go better.
to bring it back. Yeah, so the state uses a 3-year moving average to do the CLA business. So that's why that's why it only jumped as little as it did. Sales in Coventry were like up 50% this year over appraised value.
So that's what I was
I
saying.
said, I went through that, so I studied it, my own personal interest, but it only was a 10% bump because it's averaged over 3 years, so it,
Oh, I
as you
see.
go forward, and it was only as of, I think, April 1st, 2022. Right. So it didn't capture the bulk of this year's gigantic rises either, so I think more than likely next year, we're gonna see it continue to drop.
What's
I
the
just
number?
can't say how much.
There's a number that it gets to that they end up telling you have to do it.
Yeah, 89%, isn't it?
It's because everything's sold higher than what it's appraised at.
Or lower, it goes either
Yeah,
way.
this is an appraiser question. I think the number is,
It's like
it's either 85 or 80.
I thought it was
If you're out of bounds by 15 or 20.
We're at 91.
It's kind of hard though, when you're in a small town and if you only have 30 sales.
But it still
That
adds.
would be a highly, usually we're like at 2 or 3. I think last year there was there might be 6 or 7 arm's length sales, but I mean, it picked up. But the state still does it, and they will do it.
Do you think we should put 100,000 or should we put 50?
But
Put 100.
my reason for 100 is because we don't know what's gonna happen with the seller.
Yeah.
But I think there's plenty of money there to do a reappraisal, just a regular one. But we don't know how the Casella thing's gonna go, and that
That could cost.
could get quite costly.
Okay. I agree with
So
that.
100,000 Article 14.
Yeah, that's in there. I've got numbers. Yeah, I've got those. It was just these
If
three.
it turns out it resolves all very amicably, if you don't need it, and CLA is improving, you can just go back and put it on the warning next year, the year after, we take it out and put it back in the general.
In the budget, we have our 250,000 in investment funds. It's already in the budget, isn't it?
For a budgeted item, yes.
Yes, okay, good.
But my thinking was if we still have extra left over,
Oh, yeah.
that's a real good place to put it.
Flood recovery, Article 15, he's got 50,000 in there. I was, what do we have in there currently?
That's a new one.
100,
No, we didn't have one of those
103,000
last
flood
year.
recovery.
Yeah, we do.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have this article last year.
Yeah, we
This is a
did.
different article from last year. I don't think there was a flood mitigation one on there.
No, last year we didn't touch. that.
Oh, we didn't do that one, okay.
But I'm looking at it this year.
I see it in there, so I figured this was what it was.
It's
It's actually,
130.
we started it at a 250,000, so it's down to 100K.
So I'm gonna go on this, I'm working on getting grant for the ice jam study to be able to give us what this scoping study is gonna come out with a budget for the items that we can do to help mitigate some of the ice and flooding that we have going on. That study, the preliminary budget that's being put in was 65-ish thousand. But I'm waiting to get an answer back to see if we have to front that, like if it's a reimbursement thing or if it's paid straight from. Because it's gonna be a 90-10 split on the study. The 10% is actually gonna be paid for by FEMA, so out of the study, we shouldn't have anything out of pocket, but I don't know if we have to pay for it upfront.
I'd like to see it, see what it actually is and what it entails before I make any decisions on. You know, you've talked about it a couple times, but I really haven't seen where you're going.
Yeah, they haven't gotten the application.
But
completed
we
yet.
had what, 800,000 you said?
So you saw the
800,000 divide up.
Yeah, they'll be there. So they're building the
We had
the
1.2.
scoping study off of that report. And they're gonna go through the budgets that, I don't even understand a lot of this, but.
Coming back to this one, do you think you should put more money in here to fix the turns? Because if, put it this.
Well,
way,
so we had a number of 400 there already, or no, we had a number of 811. Took away 229.
I'm
Yeah,
just
you can
thinking-
jack it up.
I'm just thinking because. I'd rather have none, what's left there.
Well, you actually could do that and you still had a number. You had a number down at the bottom of 900, David.
Oh, you said 1.2
Oh, no, that's the total amount that you're splitting up.
between
You're starting with 1.2 and then dividing.
at Article 10.
Doing something in reserve funds. No, I
No,
mean, the total.
no, starting at 12.
You have a number of 900 as town investment.
That's just a placeholder because I didn't know what you wanted
Correct.
to do with the other ones.
That's one we're going to steal from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can't read this paper.
Even if we leave it at 250, Scott, you're still gonna end up at that $800,000 range. Still a good number. Unless you want to add more to
Want to add another 100?
it. I'm fine either way.
Let's make Article 12 350 instead.
350?
Yeah.
Thirteen still 150.
Are you gonna need anything else in 24? You're gonna want a truck, probably another truck, but it'll be towards the end of the year, and it'll be this time, and then you'll still have 100,000 towards it, and you can
Yeah,
at least.
lawnmower is my main need right now. So that's a lot.
Stay 150.
Want to make it 200?
Maybe make that 200 then.
Make it 200,
All right.
200 it is.
because you probably should see about a salt shed, right? At least get an.
Well, that's what I was-
That's building and maintenance, so wouldn't it?
So I
come out-
did, so I didn't want to go backwards, but I think we should take some. Instead of just jacking it all in road infrastructure, we could put some into the buildings and maintenance too. You had a no there, David.
Because I didn't know if you needed anything, but if you do,
Well, how much
Why
do we
don't-
have left in building and maintenance right now?
220.
220.
How much is a salt shed?
I was thinking.
Guessing. Yes.
I won't even dare guess because
It's made out of concrete, right?
I just get flabbergasted with the cost and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess. I'm thinking just doing an addition, a similar addition to what I have, going a little longer and just doing new rafters. And then on the last part of it, I would do a partial roof.
Maybe just add 100,000 to building and maintenance.
We could, ain't gonna hurt us down the road.
Is that a new article?
No,
I think
There is, I don't see it on here.
No,
I don't see anything that says building and maintenance.
well, we can easily have it. It's just.
Well, because what if we do this parking lot and we want to redo it and pave it and make a stone wall and change the ramp around and put some lights out there, we could easily spend 100,000.
yeah, and actually we got, we're doing test bits, Wednesday, man.
January 18th, Dave,
I mean, we can use that, can we use ARPA money for?
Wednesday.
parking lot?
Need that excavator here.
Yes,
We can
yes,
use
to the
our-
answer.
You
Yes,
can use
to
our
our
money for
question.
anything.
Excavator. Okay, so we need an article for buildings.
You got, write that down, David. How much did you say for building and maintenance?
I
100,000?
think we should add 100,000,
Okay,
whether we use it or not, it'll help.
Septic around 50.
And you're good with the 50,000 in flood mitigation?
Hang on. That's the draft budget and what they're doing.
Building and maintenance article. 100,000.
We're taking that ice study that was done. And there were three, I think, three mitigation things that came up to be able to do, 3 or 4. And this is gonna go through and figure out where the best place to do them and what would be. And it'll come out with a budget for doing those projects.
This is $49,000 just to figure out what we want to do. Seems a lot, doesn't it?
You like scoping studies?
I don't like this at all. I think you just come
But
over,
this-
have
so
someone
this
come
is-
look at it.
This is all, it won't in the end be out of our pocket, because 90% is paid by FEMA, 10% is gonna be DEM.
So is this a grant that's already been applied for?
Yeah, it's the brick grant, freaking acronyms. It's in the process of being applied for. It's supposed to go up to FEMA this month. The experts stand for, it's one of the programs that they have.
I think
in
we
the
already
state.
did a study on how to fix it, right?
No,
There's no
it was a
fix.
study to see, there's a study to see where the problems are. And then to say, here, this is a things you could potentially do. Brick committee. God, I always know what it means. I can't think of it after.
I think we put 50 grand in there, but I'm not a big in favor of getting their consultants for anything.
Now, if you guys don't want to fix anything, that's fine.
Well,
I do want to
no,
fix it, but I don't.
it's not a matter of that though.
Who's,
I just kind of heard glimpses of what we're doing here and I haven't really seen it in front of me.
no, I know, because this is really all we got. It's in the application process to get the funding.
Yeah.
To do this study, to get the people to do this study, and NVDA is putting this in on our behalf.
This is something you've been working on.
This is
but
something I've
you
been
haven't
working
told
on.
us about.
No, I have mentioned it, but there hasn't been much coming from it because we were stopped because of we had a ID issue with the whole sam.gov thing that's been going on for 1.5 years with the fire district. But there wasn't really much to say because the application wasn't done. I had mentioned that I was moving forward to do the application. This isn't a thing of saying, it still needs to be submitted to FEMA and they still need to come back and say, yeah, we're gonna allow you to do this. So I'm just putting this in as
The possible source of.
a possible source of cost, maybe. I know in the end, there won't be any cost, but I don't know, I tried getting a hold of them today to see if it was an upfront thing and reimbursed, or if it's they cover it all and then we don't have to put any money out of pocket.
Oh, we got in there, 73, 70, why did I have that number in my head?
Oh,
103,000.
104K.
So it should be fine with the 50.
Yep.
The other thing that I was going on, which I was talking to Barlow today, is that if we were to do any of those projects, you're gonna want some money in there, but that's this isn't starting until the end, it's not gonna be done until 24, so.
Maybe the sidewalk study group could work with these guys and they could maybe figure it out.
You know why there's these scoping studies is because none of us have the time to figure out what needs to be done and how to do it.
And some of it.
You have to pay for that, so.
All
I
right.
think the 50,000 is fine for this year. It's gonna probably be one to be looked at if what comes out of this come next year, but.
Okay, now read Article 16 and decide whether you want it on there or not.
That the town of Coventry elect its town officers by Australian ballot pursuant 17 VSA and adopt all budget articles by Australian ballot pursuant blah, blah, and vote on all public questions by Australian ballot.
So prior to town meeting, everybody will have already pre-voted.
Won't be a town meeting.
There won't be a town.
There
meeting.
won't be a town.
That
meeting.
article passes, town meeting goes away.
It's sort of like what the last 2 years.
It'll
have
be
been.
just like the
We'll
last
have
2
it-
years.
We'll have information meetings, and then people just come in and vote when they want.
Okay, all right, that's what I figured. Okay.
It'll be just like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you have any rough numbers of the? Deb?
Off the top of my head, no.
That's almost, you know what, that's almost something that should be in a mailing to every resident in the town and then get the mailings back and see what the consensus is. Probably I mean, that would be expensive, but it would be interesting to know what people want, not just 100 people that
Out of the
come.
last 2 years with numbers wise, it wasn't double, was it? Than what we would normally have at town?
It wasn't double, but it definitely was a lot more because you had a lot of people who did not want to come in to vote because of the pandemic, but you also had people who couldn't make it in to vote. And then you had people who just wouldn't come in to vote, but seeing how they received the ballot, they took the time to actually read the ballot and vote.
I'd rather have it come from the people than the select board.
Well, that's what this is.
Huh?
That's what this is.
No, this is
Yeah.
select board encouraging it.
Not
I
necessarily.
don't know, I'm not encouraging a lot.
There's
of
no
these things that
different,
are on
there's
here.
no different than Article 18.
All right, so,
Oh, you mean having a petition or something done to do it?
yeah, I want the people of Coventry to tell me that the greatest form of democracy widely recognized doesn't work. And that you need to go to an Australian ballot where you're gonna get more votes and you're gonna have only about less than 3% of the people that are actually gonna go to a meeting and be informed on it. More votes doesn't mean you have a more informed community. I don't like it,
Disagree, but.
and that's fine, you disagreed. So if you guys want an article, let's vote, I'm gonna oppose.
Well, put it this way, if it's on there and the people who do come, they'll probably feel exactly the same way as you and it shouldn't get passed. Because the only people voting on it are the people that are here. The people that are here are gonna be like,
And that's the problem.
why the hell do I want it to be Australian ballot? I'm here, and if the people can't come, then they shouldn't have a say.
Which is wrong. Because there are people who can't come to be part of the town.
I would be,
Which I'm fine with that too, huh? And I'm fine with somebody at town meeting saying, all right, this doesn't work, I got a job and I can't be there at 10 o'clock, I want the town meeting to be at 6 o'clock. I'm fine with that. If the answer is you want more inclusion, there's a solution. But to tell me that, and we've seen it in the last 3 years, there's no participation at all in the informational meetings. You had what was your bond last year?
I think we had like 6 people overall at the school meeting.
For how many millions of dollars? You're talking,
Yeah.
yeah, plus a $3 million budget. Nobody is getting involved.
But they're voting.
But what are they voting on if they don't know?
I don't think it's our place to judge whether or not someone's informed. I think as a community and a governing organization, our job is to make it easy for people to vote and have the ability to vote. Whether or not they're informed, that's totally on, that's on each person.
I mean, for 20 years living here, I never came to a town meeting.
Correct.
I just couldn't
Would
get
you-
away.
If it was at 6 o'clock, you could.
But you have, but so.
All right.
But then there's other people, though, the
Exactly.
older people aren't
So-
gonna come at 6, so.
Let's
I mean-
go, I'm just gonna oppose and you guys can pass it if you want.
What was that? Deb, were you making that to the chat?
No, David actually made that to the chat where he said, does
Sorry,
anyone have last
me.
year's town report? Oh, actually, it's Kathleen. The numbers of how many voted is in the report. That is true. And I also have that in my letter for this year as well.
Yeah, I just don't have it handy, but it's a pretty, as I recall it, without being anywhere specific on those numbers, it's a impressive difference of how many more people were able to participate if you view it that way. You know, the number of people voted Australian ballot
I think.
versus
Gotta be-
years past in person.
Double. Well, I put it this way, I feel kind of personally, I'm kind of for this, but I would be really, really surprised if the people who come here would vote for it.
Yeah.
Because normally I wouldn't vote for it.
Mhm.
You know, like if I came, I wouldn't vote. It's like, oh, they can't come. I don't want to know what they have to say.
It's
vote.
definitely gonna create a discussion piece for sure.
So is that, okay, we got that one.
But I mean, I don't really want to see town meeting go away either.
We could still have.
We could just have a
Yeah, you
party about, we could have a meeting
Right.
about everything that's been approved.
You can't have a meeting. It's like this, it's like the school. I mean, you get your informational meeting, which nobody goes to. And then you have people voting on.
So something that with this, that will have to be brought up is if the school is gonna do the same thing. Because the school would have to have this. on
School
their
already
ballot
does
also,
Australian ballot.
But not,
Now
not with the whole
Right,
thing.
just
So-
their elected officials. That's
What
the
it needs,
have to
what
change.
would have to be, in my opinion, to make this work, is that the school would have to have the same thing on their, but on their.
Yeah, they have to have
Warning.
their warning, if they want it to, if they want it.
No, they already have
We'll
it.
discuss it on our end too.
The school already has Australian. ballot.
Right.
Not-
Not
No.
their-
Official.
Just for the budget.
Like we do the official.
So we really shouldn't have this only on ours if this is gonna happen, because if we only do it, the school doesn't do it, then you're still having a kind of meeting for the school. Right.
How many towns in the state of Vermont are Australian ballots? Do you know that information?
That I don't, but I would probably say you're probably gonna be looking at almost maybe half and half. I would honestly have to guess.
If they have more than 1,000 people, like you have to vote on it, but normally if it's more than 1,000 registered voters, you just automatically become an Australian ballot. Is that true?
Not that I
But I
know. To
read
become
it.
Australian ballot, it's gonna be voted in by your voters.
Well, I had read somewhere that once you get, actually, no, maybe you told me, once you reach 1,000 registered voters, you go automatically to Australian ballot.
I think so, because I remember.
Not 100% positive.
Okay, do you want me to include this on the warning? Yes or no?
Well, it probably has to go hand in hand with the school, right?
Could have both.
And I did message the school
Let's
today,
vote,
just
let's vote. let's
asking
vote.
them to,
You guys vote, let's not worry about the school.
So we're not approving this warning today.
No, but if you want this.
We're not gonna, you two aren't gonna change your mind. I'm not gonna change mine. Let's vote.
But if this article isn't on there this year, then we have to do a regular town meeting next year.
I think it should be on.
I think it should be on there.
and Kathleen had her hand up.
I will support the greatest form of democracy.
Kathleen's gonna have to wait a minute.
So how does it?
But if the school
okay.
doesn't put it on theirs,
Yeah.
then I don't think we should put ours. on.
And that's what, like, okay, so this is where my question is coming from.
You can
Do we have to
take it
vote
off.
on these articles separately to put them on the warning? As a board?
Just-
Or is it the warning that we vote on at that point with taking it, striking it, or adding it? Okay,
Correct.
that's where I was
Yeah.
going. We don't have to vote on the individual thing. And we aren't approving this until Thursday anyways, so. Yes,
So
I
you
agree,
know if
I
the
agree, it
school's
should
gonna
be
put
on
that
there.
on theirs.
We're gonna talk about it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So if I don't know if it's on the agenda today, but we'll have it added for this Wednesday's meeting.
Don't we have to vote to approve to have it on the article?
No, you just vote on,
No,
no. you
that
just
was
warning.
back,
Yeah, but it's a new article. I think the select board has to approve it in order for it to, don't you guys, I mean, this is not an article, this is something new that we've never done before.
you guys have to approve that, I think.
Yeah, but when you're approving the whole entire warning, then they're approving all the different articles. Back when we went through the COVID phase and legislator gave us the option to be able to do Australian ballot, the select board had to vote to go ahead and use that route versus their normal way of town meeting. Now that that's sort of gone kaput, but yet they're bringing back the Australian ballot again. Yeah, if you want that to happen, you just gotta place it on the warning. It goes to town meeting. If it gets approved, it gets approved. We're Australian ballot. If it doesn't, then we stay the same as town meeting.
So I guess that's
Right,
where
but somebody
I guess
should-
that's where the question is do we
These
need to
guys
vote
decide
separately?
whether it should go on the warning. They decide.
Motion it and vote it. I mean, I would do
And I'm
it,
just, we'll do it.
especially when there's a disagreement.
I'll make a motion to have Article 16 added for electing as town officers by Australian ballot, adopting budget and public questions by Australian ballot
What about,
on the warning.
what about doing, you probably don't wanna hear this.
No, we don't. Go ahead, Karen, just kidding.
Wait, second.
It's being recorded, you know.
I want to hear what she has to say, God.
So you guys are split. What about two meetings where you have to be at a meeting to vote? Like Monday night and Tuesday day. So the people that are working all day can go to the Monday night meeting and the people that are, and you have to be there to vote.
I wouldn't like that. I
Yeah.
would support changing it to a later time so the working people could come. I got no problem with that, but I do not want to get away from town meeting. So we can vote on whether we want that on the warning, right? Let's do that.
Yes, that's what we're voting on.
Let's
The
do that.
motion's been made by Phil.
I'm gonna second it.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna oppose it.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, Kathleen, sorry about that. Go
That's
ahead.
never gonna pass.
It will.
Nothing,
won't.
okay.
Won't pass. I bet you $50.
That's good.
All right, next, here is your petition that we.
So
received.
we got two more articles to talk about. that we haven't talked.
Handed it to you. And we're not talking about the last one, because you guys approved that last week, Article 18, that you already approved those. Appropriations.
Happiness on. the
So-
reserve funds.
What?
Did we achieve happiness on the reserve fund? Side, for what's gonna happen there?
See, I didn't
The
have one.
balance, you should have one article on here for them
So-
ask to go into.
Well, that's one.
That's,
what I'm-
so that sheet he sent has the long-term investment account on it. The one,
Yeah,
the warning we have doesn't have that on here.
Okay, this sheet.
Yes.
All right,
So I wrote down, I'll just redo, roads infrastructure fund, add 350,000. Roads capital equipment, add 200,000.
Yep.
Reappraisal fund, add 100,000.
Yep.
Flood mitigation, add 50,000.
yep,
Buildings and maintenance, add 100,000.
yep,
That adds up to 800,000,
okay,
at least 400,000.
that goes to reserve, right?
Well, it could remain sitting in the general fund. I don't recommend that because it's gonna earn about a 0.25% interest per year.
or you could, yeah,
You can tuck all or some of it into the investment fund.
So if we tucked it all in, that would make, including the budgeted line item, that would make 650,000, right?
Yes. Correct. The budgeted one doesn't happen until next year.
Next year,
March
right.
6th.
Yeah.
So building and maintenance was how much? 100,000?
100.
to make that, you wanna put building and maintenance up to 200?
We got 100 in a minute.
We got
223.
Yeah, there's 220 in there right
we
now.
got 400,000 left to go into, unless this 250 if they approve
So
it.
tell me what you, tell them what you told me today.
A lot of the money to put it in, it depends on the reserve fund, but a lot of it I view is kind of lazy money unless you can execute it.
Within that year.
The roads infrastructure in particular, but that's fine. What you're doing there, as long as it's a plan, that's great. But if it's, I think we need to be careful about the balances, like the buildings and maintenance fund was sitting at over $500,000 for years. Just sitting in the bank. And it's only come down recently because we redid the church. And
We bought that,
Meeting
yeah,
house. And bought next door. and
tore it down and did the kitchen
I
and
mean, but for you, I'm not talking 10, 15 years, it's just sitting there. So, you really want to avoid that because it's not doing anything. That's kind of my point.
so our funds are at a good
And-
place.
And the other thing is, it's gonna keep coming. That landfill money is, just keeps coming at us.
So you can't invest inside those reserve funds,
No.
inside those allotments, not really.
Well, then it's tied up.
I mean, it's kind of impractical. But I can look at CDs, if the rates on those become attractive, and they are. But,
Just for short term.
from a line, yeah, it's a short-term thing.
So what say if Article 17, hypothetically, say our Article 17 was moved to 18.
Yep.
And 18 was 17. Are your thoughts if there was no money left? And these things one by one, when they got to the end, the whole thing wouldn't get approved because we didn't leave any money left? Is that?
No,
what
because
it-
they're asking for money from that's coming up. From fiscal year 24 appropriations.
So they would
And
get
I'm
it.
talking about leftover fiscal year 22. Is what you're looking at, the reserve fund. And
So if the town approves the 250,000 for the foundation, it wouldn't get paid until next town meeting almost,
October. of
October?
23.
October of 23 is when our years, yeah. Not August, July.
We typically pay appropriations in October. It's aligned with other towns because that's when they're looking to tax money.
Mhm. So it doesn't matter how much we have left. In a sense,
Yeah, from fiscal year 22. Because we're in fiscal year 23 right now, the money is continuing to come from the landfill. And then, of course, fiscal year 24 is what you're budgeting for. And what that appropriation request would hit.
You good?
so I think, I guess any excess revenue should go into the long-term investment account, right?
So we'll set it up that way for your next meeting.
Thursday.
Right, so it's not, it's not a done deal tonight, but yeah, just as long as we have some way to. We need it so we can write it into the warning.
Right.
So how much again was left in the building and maintenance? Right now, we added 100 and you had at what, 250?
The 220.
To 320, so we're done 320, so honestly. 100 grand on the parking lot would leave 220. If you were to add on to your shed up there, I think you'd have enough. And it's okay if that account gets down to 50,000 because they can replenish it the following year if there's anything else, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably enough. Do you agree?
Better than the cost of the salt shed, yes.
Well, he's
Recent experience with construction tells me I wouldn't even want to guess either.
conservative though. He's gonna add on to the back.
Well, my biggest cost will be cement.
It's hideously expensive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe McAllister would give you a good price. Maybe we'll be buying forms and doing it ourselves.
So that'll be. Well, you'll move the articles around.
So
probably.
30, yeah, you'll.
But it already, we're going to the next board of building. I don't have any objection per se. Like I said, we can look at doing some CDs.
Well, the only thing is-
The earnings up to something respectable.
The only thing about doing a salt shed. Is that something that really could happen pretty quickly?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the spring, things might be slow, building prices are down and it's gonna be what, pressure treated wood and it's kind of open and tin on the outside and cement high, whatever. Someone gives you a price on it, you get a couple bids and it's 300,000. I'd be sad if we didn't have the money there if you wanted to get it done.
Oh, I can't have 300,000. I mean, I'm 50 feet deep by 8 feet high right now. And I'd like to go probably 70 feet. 70 by one wall, 70 by probably 12 in back, another 20.
Oh, is there cement floor in it?
Well, we have to cement the floor on that side too.
I think we should put another 100,000 in building and maintenance. If you want to really get prices and be able to do it.
All right.
Okay, you agree? Yeah,
You look at the school. That was, what was that percentage?
Like when they first.
You could guess the, what was it, 2 million more?
Initially, yeah.
So,
so but if you cut the project
You
in
can-
half, it's still only double.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't make
No,
sense.
I think it makes sense to put more in there. What did you want to put in there?
200 instead of 100,
Yep.
and they'll still leave you 300,000
And that actually totaled with what's in the budget.
to happen.
It's consistent with what we were putting in back 2-3 years ago,
Mhm.
when it was just a scrape whatever's left over into the account, so.
200 in building and maintenance.
Mhm.
All right,
It's not an unusual time.
No,
we done?
do
Okay,
we have to
six-
make we don't have to make a motion to
No.
approve that, because we're gonna approve it,
You're coming on Thursday.
okay, and you're gonna.
Okay,
work.
6 and 7 RFP of Fester, and dry hygiene are getting tabled. When I'm not ready.
Did
I'm
we
not ready
finish
to assessor yet.
Did we finish the foundation one? Did we have to do anything with that?
No, there's nothing. we can
You got-
do.
you have it.
I just wanted to show it to you.
There's 50.
6 and 7, your table.
Yes.
How many registered voters do we have, Deb?
We have like 780, but non-active, or I should say non-child active is like 736.
So 736.
Yeah. Actually, I gave Matt a copy of the checklist, which probably has the most accurate number at the very back that I believe.
So 36 people is pretty much
We
5%.
had 38 about, maybe it's 700.
788 total registered,
What is the number?
788.
Yeah. But that's
Doesn't
not
doesn't
the
give me calendar.
non-active. Yeah, the non-challenged ones. Active voters. Those are all the ones that are marked with Cs. So I think it was down to like 738, 739-ish. Actually, I think I added 2 people today, so maybe 741-ish.
Hold on, I want to see who.
Do you have the
petitioned.
petition?
I want to see the list. Sorry,
That's
yeah.
efficient.
Petitions in here.
Mhm.
Yeah. Why was the one
So
marked off
supposedly
that
the
was not?
foundation never said
What's that?
anything. Supposedly
Never mind.
They had an audit and then you.
Now I lost count. Oh, well.
That's fine, you send it to me and you. I'll make sure, because, I mean, if we have that information in there transparent, then I'm okay with this, but if they still aren't.
So I guess the question I had on it, what was the basis of the number?
What
As
they-
far as what we're requesting,
Yeah,
because it's been a couple of years since we've come to request for funding. And we have more residents now who are reaching out to us because of the pandemic as far as requiring assistance, whether it's for food, whether it's for fuel, whether it's for other personal expenses. And now that COVID is technically done, we are starting to see our tuition go back up for our students who are attending back to college. Where before we had a year or two where it was sort of slumped down. Same thing with this school, fund and enrichment programs.
They do. So they got more.
So I think the last time we received funding was back in 2019, I believe. So actually, you're looking at almost 3 years of funding we haven't come to request.
What were
It was
your-
2020.
What were your
That's
expenses? in
twenty
that-
twenty. Oh, that's right,
Okay.
2020, sorry.
What were your expenses in that time frame?
You right, one, and I just barely sent that off to. Emma.
A lot.
Let me see if she has that in.
They haven't taken over the health club.
It hasn't really officially been talked about, has it?
We mentioned it to Leo once when he came 3 years ago.
You look like a workout guy. Why don't you guys take over the health club?
See what?
He's not on it anymore.
Oh, you're not on the foundation anymore?
No.
Oh,
So it looks like for this next year's coming up budget, approximately 115,000, but it's helped to go ahead and recover for the last couple of years that we haven't received any funding.
How much have you spent since we gave you the last 250,000 in 2020?
That I don't have all those figures.
Can we get it?
I'll ask Rosalie.
Okay,
Where are we at now?
Treasurer's report.
Dun, dun, dun.
You can take one number to say.
We're tabling 6 and 7.
Are we just, real quick, are we just looking for a new assessor every year or they? Are we?
Our contract's up. Our contract's up in June.
Okay.
So as a note, because that RFP went out,
The RFP did not go out.
it went out to, not out to the people on the mailing list. If anybody read it.
Yeah.
There's a line in there, this is the old one, there's a line in there about the assistant clerk at 20 hours a week, it's actually been. 8
Yeah,
hours, so
there's lots of stuff in there that we,
Yeah.
David, are gonna change.
I just wanted to make sure that was noted, because I know people look at that stuff and they go, what?
So I know you've all been waiting for the treasurer report, but I'd like to skip back to it for a second.
For what? Let's get back to what?
So there was that 20 hours a week, and I'd really like to, I think it says had a year. You were looking for a year's bid. I'd like to see a 3-year bid. Thought I said that in.
So Matt just took this from the last one that and didn't change. You didn't.
he
change
tabled
it.
this, he's tabled this, he's gonna fix it, so you're gonna get, you'd like a 3-year.
We've talked about it.
Yeah,
One more.
we just haven't had a chance. We've got a lot going on this week. That's
Really?
why-
What?
That's why.
What do you guys do?
What do you do?
Well, we're eating, partying, and
Yeah.
generally carrying on.
Okay.
That's what, I just wanted to mention that too,
Yeah.
because it was sent out and everybody sees it and just to make it clear.
Tuesdays.
No other business. Oh, we're going to David.
David is the treasurer's report,
Okay, I invite your attention to the
which you guys should have.
printout in there somewhere.
I want it colored graph.
I don't have access to the color printer for some reason. I've tried to print it up in color and it doesn't never work.
You can't print color on, print color.
The calendar.
What?
Do it 50-50.
We decided we could save a few bucks by printing them in black and white. We're gonna do that.
That's the way to go.
At least do that. Oh shit, sorry.
I don't know, just email it to everybody.
Yeah.
Even better.
Do a bad.
PDF, at least they asked, why not? I would do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be full color.
Okay,
I don't even have that.
well, we can trip through the treasurer's report real quick here. The, pretty much a normal month. You can see, it looks like, there was a significant amount of general fund spending, but there's, that number of 173,536.99 is actually 76,000 too high. There's the check for payment to the painter for the meeting house / church is actually in that number too, because I haven't moved the money at the bank yet, because the warrant's still in the folder. So
Okay,
it's a normal month. General fund spending is under 100,000. Normal revenues for this time of year. ARPA funds remain obligated at 35,000, so there's 280,000 left to be obligated. You can see the reserve fund balances there as of December 31st, on the right hand side. And you get an idea of what the monthly revenues are from an interest standpoint, too. If you look at the revenues column for the reserve fund, you can see what they're paying. A number that has gone up, but it's not moving terribly fast, so I think it's probably time to look at some CDs in some cases. On the investment side, December was another tough month, but the good news, if you look down at the bottom, I've added the 1 January, which is the same as December 31st, bar to the chart. And it's starting to head back up again. It has gone up a little bit in January. But
You're talking way at the bottom.
yeah, that chart that's there. And it's hard. It's every 6 months at this point, we can still have room down there.
He does, he can get very comfortable.
And I updated the amount that we put over 1.5 million into in addition into the town investment account since 2018. Just give you an idea that.
Yeah, so we really have about $8.5 million that we put in, and it's, so basically, in 4 years, we're still up $1.5 million per se. Right?
Is that how that works out?
We have 8.5, yeah, and 10 million.
And even more now, it's gone up significantly. This.
It's fine. It's better than giving it away or having it missing. We have at least more than we started with, and that's a good goal.
Did they, did our finance guy be rebalancing over the last year or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's.
He's on.
Oh, is it? Oh, that one.
All done, David?
If the board has any questions, otherwise, I'm done.
Looks really good. We appreciate your expertise.
Other business, I don't believe we have any tonight. Have you guys got something? No, we'll go to the approval of minutes from January 4th. Should be in your file somewhere.
Right here. You got one.
I think
Oh, I saw it. Was that short, really? We were here a long time. Oh, other business, shoot. I went and did the fireworks thing and they came back and said, we're suggesting to go up another 10 to 20%. So they've had more increases, and I said there wasn't any.
So we don't have fireworks, we just have a bonfire.
We just have a big fire.
We can just keep it, we can keep it where it is. Just-
Oh, we could ask the foundation.
Oh, we can ask myself.
We should ask the foundation for money for fireworks.
That's our one.
It's gonna be funny, I think it'll be funny in the budget.
That's for everybody. More people come to the fireworks than freaking. Do we want to do this table?
No.
whatever you want.
Oh, we have to make a motion. on this.
Did somebody make a?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written for January 4th.
Thank you, Phil. Second.
David, all those in favor? Aye.
Okay, next is your warrants.
These are done.
Let's not mix these files up with any of those.
I looked at it today.
You know, when we come.
Mr. Barlow still there?
Yep.
On the, you
Yes.
have your working Thursday, you have Thursday, you have time to come sign that, you have time for an extra.
I was supposed to go to Woody.
I'll see you there.
Oh, he's right here.
Because maybe we could table this. Thursday.
On Thursday. Do
Yeah.
it Thursday?
Yeah, we're gonna table the executive session, put it on Thursday.
Got it.
That way we can
Hey,
watch.
David,
Add
Barlow?
to
Yeah.
Thursday.
Mr. Treasurer?
He said, yeah,
With the checks, can you sign at least the Beamer's check tonight, please? And then that way I will hurry up and get that out to the state. The rest can wait till you come back in later in the week.
You want to mail it right now?
So there'll be no executive session.
You could, but you sort of need the coupon to go with it, which I have.
Okay.
Oh,
So
So I'll just scoot in tomorrow and get it mailed.
okay.
Is the roofer happy with the amount that we paid him? Because we held back like $3,500.
He hasn't said anything.
I've got nothing.
He hasn't, I haven't heard from him. He cashed his check.
You did.
And it was a no brainer in there.
I sent him numerous emails explaining that why he was getting that amount.
he won't have to do a board for us.
And I,
Yeah, he will.
Ignore anything.
and he was talking to Jim, he was talking back and forth with Jim Fitzgerald, the painter, about what, you know,
Why it was,
maybe
why
they worked it out on their own. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, that 76, I was talking about 1,000 on the treasury report was the roofer. not-
Yeah.
Yeah. the
right?
roofer, Not,
I knew what you meant.
yeah, not the painter.
Painter, he had got his money a long.
The other
time.
guy, one, was way high and good stuff.
We gotta
Yeah.
find this one too.
So noon on Thursday,
Noon on Thursday.
and if I can't make it, you're gonna send my food by
That would be a
DoorDash?
big credit.
Is this,
We're gonna wait for you, Karen. What do you want? What do you want? Cheeseburger?
So I haven't seen that.
We do actually.
which check did you want him to have, Deb? David Stein?
Well,
The Beamer's one, the V for Vermont, retirement municipal.
He uses the pool to work and they deliver DoorDash.
Oh, and that's,
It should be on one of the January 4th.
I
Or
think she.
deliver somebody a Wendy's.
on,
And we can just close it right there.
This is paying her back.
West side DoorDash.
Yeah.
Okay, Martha's DoorDash?
I don't know about that one. Yep.
You just send your order to Brian.
Okay.
So he knows.
Send it to me, Gary.
Okay.
I'll order you whatever you want.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants.
Thank
So
you,
moved.
Bill.
Put him in the air.
Second, Scott.
All in
How
favor?
come we got so many? I only saw a few.
Because you didn't approve any last.
Oh.
meeting.
Because they're from last meeting.
Okay, if you're not doing an executive session, all you need to now do is adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So move, all those in favor? Aye.
Executive session.
Second, Scott.
I know, right?
We're adjourned at 7:30. Stop recording.
Bye, Dad.
Good night. See you Thursday.